Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. How are
But turn on the camera. I have no idea where I am. Where you are. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Oh, great. Thank you so much. These things happen, but it just shows you how wonderful we are because we can just wheel spin and do everything. So I want to welcome you to the conference, and I want you to continue to be as engaged as you are. So I'm inviting everybody to type in the chat right away. Just tell us where you're from. I'm seeing names, but I really want to know more. Dan, come we do outside your organization. So just type in the chat which schools you're from, which parish you're from, so that we can actually recognize you. I am the moderator for the session. I'm Dr. Sandra Hamilton, and your presenters today are Miss Chevrolet, who is a special education here at Church Teachers College, and Mrs. Tina. Give us one second. And Mrs. Tima Spencer Aiken, who is also here in the assessment area, assessment and intervention area. Great. I'm seeing that we have people from Trinidad, School for the Deaf. We're having people from Clarendon. We're having people from St. Thomas, License, a lot of St. Thomas people. Hey, love you guys. So they're going to be speaking with you about the effect of COVID-19 on the children and how to modify and monitor that behavior in the classroom. They're going to identify some of the challenges and share with you some really good strategies that you can use right away to manage their children. So I'm going to, and I want to, there is a hand button. There should be a clap button there. There are emojis at the bottom of the screen. There is at the top of your screen, you can raise your hand and just click on it. I'm seeing that you've all found this already, and I will monitor the chat. We will not take any questions during the presentation. So hold them for the end, and then I'm going to share with you when to start posting so I can have your presenters answer. Let us, Caribbean University in Manchester, Northern Caribbean University. Welcome to everybody, and put your hands together and welcome Miss Lawrence. Yay.
Good morning, everybody. As Dr. Hamilton stated earlier, my name is Miss Sharika Lawrence. I hope that you're all hearing me. And as Dr. Hamilton also stated earlier, we're going to be looking on behavioral strategies for the virtual classroom. COVID-19 has brought about changes to the way we actually teach. And the virtual classroom is one of the ways in which we have to adapt to. And the virtual classroom allows us with all kinds of opportunities and expectations way beyond what we even expected. It is bringing out the best in us. It is also bringing out the worst in us. It is bringing out the best in our students. We're seeing talents. We're seeing students that we didn't even know that had existed with certain talents is coming out in our virtual classroom. A lot of persons have to adapt to it, and this presentation is about how we can manage the behaviors that exist. And this is the undesired behaviors that exist in the virtual classroom. So I am going to be sharing my screen. Good morning. I hope you're all able to.
And so while they're bringing up
their
PowerPoint, let's welcome Jasmine, Tori, Melissa, Chanel, Sophie, Shelly-Ann. As soon as you're ready, Miss Lawrence, you can take over.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hamilton. All right, so what is behavioral management? Now, behavioral management is a method of behavioral modification, which focuses on maintaining order. It is less severe than structured behavior modification and is focused on shaping and maintaining positive behaviors while discouraging negative behaviors. So what we are trying to do is to promote our positive behavior and discourage our negative behaviors. And we can tell what is going to happen if negative behaviors do exist in our virtual classroom. So let's continue. Any questions? Oh, Dr. Hamilton stated that we should have our questions at the end of our presentation. So if you have questions that you'd love to ask, I would suggest that you write them down or write it in the chat. And afterwards, we'll take your questions. Now, an example of this is the way in which teachers manage the behavior of students in their classroom through rules and schedules and consequences. We have to set rules, we have to have a schedule, and if undesired behaviors come about, what are the consequences? Now, oftentimes, people will say there is a similarity or there is a difference between a behavior management. But the honest truth, it is very similar, but the difference is that behavior modification focuses on changing the behavior, while behavior management focuses on maintaining order. So one is changing the behavior, that's modification, while management is trying to maintain order. So for this presentation, we are looking on behavior management in order to retain order in our classroom. What are some of the strategies that we can use? All right. Now, Dr. Hamilton, with your permission, I am asking this very important question, and I would like 3 responses from our audience. I'd love for you to give me your opinion. Which is better? Is it
right? So can people just type it in the chat and I'll let you know.
Okay, or face-to-face learning? So it's your opinion. Do you think that virtual learning is better? Or do you think that face-to-face learning is better? So I'll give you a minute to type your responses in the chat and then we can discuss it. Is that okay, Dr. Hamilton?
Right ahead, as soon as they come in, I will share it with you.
All right.
Well, you can continue and I'll let you know and just read the responses. Okay, so we have Marva saying face-to-face, Melissa saying each has its place, Kimberly says face-to-face, Diane would do blended, age group makes a difference. It depends on the child, face-to-face, 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 and face-to-face.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Hamilton. A lot of face-to-face. I think it's part of the reason is because we're accustomed to the face-to-face. But with learning, there is always change. And as somebody stated in the chat, it is also dependent on the age. But this COVID-19 situation came about and we had to look on other ways in which we can address the teaching and learning process. So this is where the virtual learning came into place. It is going to take years for us to adapt to it, but I think that we are actually doing very well at it, and it is going to become a part of our norm. So I understand when persons say that they prefer the face-to-face. I do like the face-to-face, but I also do like the virtual learning, depending on the situation. All right. So I have a little.
We have an important comment that says virtual would be better if students came online as they should.
That is so true. All right. Now, when we were doing our research, we went on a lot of social media and we looked on some of the comments from our students in Jamaica and around the world. A lot of students had the tendency to say that they prefer the face-to-face, just like you, the participants, and they gave their reason. And we took out one of the podcast that we found, and I'm going to share, and I want you to listen carefully to the podcast. Look at their reasons for saying why they like the face-to-face and why the other likes the virtual learning. All right, so I'm going to share a podcast. It's about 2 minutes. Is that okay, Dr. Hamilton? I think we should have time.
Go right.
All right, thank you.
In the meantime, Dan says we are not meeting all our students on the virtual platform and some of them are missing out. Shakira says virtual learning adds a different skill set.
All right, it's just it can't it. I just understand that you're unable to hear the audio of this podcast. But what it was talking about was two students. Two students, one like the virtual and one like the face-to-face. And they were giving their view on why is it that they like their virtual or the face-to-face. So I am sorry that you're unable to hear the audio, but it is being worked on and we will present it to you in a few. So one of the advantages of face-to-face, it promotes collaborative learning. It enhances critical thinking skills. It improves social skills. It keeps students stimulated. Teaching styles can be modified according to the student's issue, and we develop important personality and career building because it gives us an opportunity to know our students. The disadvantage of the face-to-face is that the travel time and cost. I mean, it's easy to stay home. It is easy to operate anywhere virtually. It is cheap. It is easy. The attendance time can be restrictive or inconvenient. Things do happen. You may be unable to reach their class on time. Students may not have the funds to come to school and all of that. Shy students may have trouble approaching the instructors with questions, especially if the interpersonal relationship is not there, where the teacher tends to be hostile. The shy students will have a problem approaching the instructor if there is an issue, and this is for the face-to-face. Now, let us look at the virtual learning. Now, the advantage of the virtual learning would be the total opposite of the face-to-face. You have personalized learning, you have real-time teaching and learning. It gives students and teachers a worldwide exposure. For example, let us talk about this conference here right now. We're reaching everybody around the world. So the advantage is that we are able to know of other culture, we are able to gather information from each other. So it gives students and teachers a worldwide exposure. It is affordable. Some of us are home right now in our rooms and we are gaining knowledge. It improves visualization. It introduces teachers and students to technology. One of the good things that came out of COVID is that persons who actually develop WhatsApp and Zoom and Google Classroom were exposed. So it really do introduce teachers and students, and it encourages those persons who are scientists and technologists. So that's an advantage of the virtual learning. Now, the disadvantage Because it is virtual, we have no control over the students in our classroom. They do as they feel. They wear what they want to class. No control over the learning atmosphere. It requires computers or other devices and internet, which may not be accessible to everyone. It is expensive. It is challenging to install. Students lack real-time teaching experience and the risk of traditional student-teacher collaboration, meaning that the interpersonal relationship between students and teachers is not the same. It is not the same. You're not able to read into non-verbal clues. You're not able to really get to know your students the way you'd really want to in order to really maximize their effort. All right? The challenges of online learning is that we have distracted learners. We have irrelevant posts and learning platform. Things are circulating in the social media that shows us that there is a lot of irrelevant posts that are taking place in our virtual classroom. We have minimal participation. You're asking a question. Everybody understand? No response. You really don't know if your students are actually learning. You have poor attendance. You have persons who will log in, and that's it. That is as far it goes. They log in, and nobody's really in the class. And of course, you have the disruptive behavior during class. And this is what this workshop is about. This is what this conference is about. It is about these disruptive behavior that do affect the teaching and learning process. Now, I am going to be turning over to my co-presenter, Mrs. Tamar Spencer-Akins, and she is going to be looking on strategies that you can use to assist you in the virtual classroom to control the behaviors, the undesired behaviors that do affect the teaching and learning process. So I'm going to be handing over to my co-presenter, Ms. Tamar Akins.
And while Mrs. Aiken is getting in position, let's welcome Winbert and Shakira. I have two Shakiras who joined us. Joan Reed, Tracy Ann Anderson, Tanisha Baker. I should let you see who I am since I'm doing all of this, right? And who else joined us? 96510. Welcome to you all. Any questions have arisen for you so far? You can just put them in the chat and I'll make sure we get them answered.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm not used to this because I really love to hear people answering me saying, hey, but I know people are jumping up and down in the bedroom and saying, hey. So just to kind of, I know you sat down and you listen. Hey, I see somebody say, hey, good. I know you sat down and you listened to all the information that Mrs. Brown, by the way, we should say congratulations. She was Miss Lawrence last year, and now she's Lawrence Brown. She don't want to talk about it, but yay, Ray, not true? Yes, I'm like that. So just to change the atmosphere a bit, let me see if I can bust a little tune, just to change the atmosphere and to let me feel comfortable. All right. Listen now, online school seem pressuring. Don't worry about the plans you're executing. Online school seem pressuring. Don't worry, my friend, just pull up. All right, later I give you more. So we're here to talk about the strategies. Some strategies that we can use to help our, to help manage our, yeah man, a bad tune. Thank you. I'm seeing the chat also. to ensure that we effectively manage our virtual space. Teachers, I know that it is not easy. I know that it is rather challenging, but I'm going to see how best I'm going to see how best I can help you to manage your space when these undesirable behaviors come about. All right. Are you seeing my screen? All right, thank you. And are you seeing me below? Because persons are saying that they're not seeing me. Oh, okay, thank you. All right, so let's go right ahead. So I have some key pointers to share with you. And there are also strategies that you can use to manage your virtual space. The first thing you need to do is to utilize a platform that will give you full control over your session. I think Zoom is one of the better ones because it allows you to mute and unmute. It allows you to do breakout rooms. I find also that Teams is also a very good platform, the one we're using now, to manage your virtual space. It allows you to do breakout rooms. It allows you to be interactive. And that is what you need, because you need to interact with your students as much as possible to ensure that you're getting across to them effectively. Next thing that you need to do is to teach the rules you want to implement repeatedly. And I put repeatedly because normally we just introduce the students to the rules the first day of class and that's it. But if you continue to teach those rules and when you see the undesirable behaviors coming up, then you nip it in the bud. As it happens, you just attack it. Somebody is misbehaving, and rule number 3 would have said that you should not be talking you should not turn on your mic and disrupt the class. And somebody did that right there and then. Class, somebody's forgetting rule number 3. Class, what is rule number 3? And your children will say it, or even the young adults or those teachers in training that you would have had, because I'm not sure of my audience if I only have primary educators or early childhood. I think I have a wide range of persons. So whomever you are educating at the time, they would know that this is a rule and I must stick to it. So teachers, when you teach those rules, try to be consistent as possible. So not only to just be consistent, but also in correcting them, please to be respectful. I know that at times feelings can get us out, but don't shout, don't argue. Just ensure that you're consistent with the rules that you put in place. Thirdly, constantly engage your students. Utilize interactive platforms. You have platforms like Kahoot, and you have another one that I'm seeing my daughter using this one. It's a math one. It actually speaks to them. It tells them when they're wrong. It applauds them and stuff. You can have the children using those platforms whenever they're finished doing their activities that you have for the entire class to do. You can have them doing that, so you keep them engaged at all times. As for me, I love the performing arts. I love using multiple intelligences when I'm teaching so that I can reach to all my learners. And I think that utilizing musical arrangement. So let's say the class is out of control. You're not using a platform that will allow you to mute and unmute as you would want, and keep the order. So the students are all over the place. You could implement or do a musical arrangement that as soon as the students hear this music, instantly they stop. Their eyes are on the screen. They would look. They know that, hello, it's time for me to pay attention. The class needs to come to order. And then now what you do is to give an instruction. give them a task, something to do, or say something, or have them do a power statement at that time. A power statement could be, I believe in myself, I am here to learn. So once I hear the music, everybody gets into position, you stop the music. Students, what do we say now? Everybody, I believe in myself, I am here to learn. And then you get back your class together. So that is something that you could use. Also, I love this. I love to do this. Now you could share your screen for a blank screen for 3 minutes. So automatically the students will no longer see teacher's picture, a blank screen comes up, their eyes on the computer, because some of them are very attentive and they love to fast in people's business. Yes, ma'am. So as soon as they see something changes, they're going to look. So the blank screen comes up for about 3 minutes, and then you either give a command or you praise a student. So you'll be typing. So you type, congratulations, Jason, you're well behaved today. And instantly they would try to start reading it and all of that. And then now even other children will say, Miss, I don't hear my name. Miss, you didn't write my name. What about me? And then you have their attention, and then you can start a conversation or get back to your lesson or give an instruction. Another thing that you could do is to create a rewards Jamboard. No, you're only seeing letters there, but I'm just showing you what a Jamboard would look like. I'm just showing you what a Jamboard would look like. So on those little colored boxes you see there, you would have the names of your students. And whenever there is a disruptive behavior, you present the Jamboard. So the Jamboard, you share the screen with the Jamboard on it. And then you would start adding stars to the students' names, the ones who are good behaving, you put the stars there. And when somebody sees that, listen, my name don't have a star, instantly they will become quiet and will allow themselves to earn a star. All right, so you can also use interactive educational sites. And this is one thing I want to ensure that you get today, that you can use to have your students to manage your classroom. You have something called the PIP and the RIP. Praise in public, and it's not rest in peace. It is reprimand in private. So I know that one of the better options for us Jamaican teachers is to really kick them out of the class, to exit them. Not true, not say true, because you know sit down there looking on a room and know it's true. Yes, good, to kick them out of the class or to exit them when they're misbehaving. But what you can do is when they're doing good, you ensure to praise them. Tell them that they're doing good. Yes, ma'am. And also, if they are rude or misbehaving or not participating as they should, then what you can do is to make sure that you pull them aside. You do it in the classroom, you can just get a breakout room and have them alone in that breakout room. You send them to that breakout room and you go over there and you talk to them and then you put them back in the class. So you can do that. But I'm sure that if you follow the rules that you implement, you won't miss out, teachers. You will be having a ball. You'll be having a wonderful time. Remember now, do not shout, do not argue. Why? It can be a problem. It can cause more harm than good. And so, as I close my presentation, I want to recap. And so I'm going to run the tune again because I see that you love it, but it's going to help you to remember what we just spoke about.
And so while Mrs. Aiken is getting her dub tune together, I'm going to invite you now to post your questions in the chat, and then I can field them to the presenters. Also, I am going to be pasting a link to our evaluation. So I'm going to paste the link, and I'm going to ask that you all please go online and fill out our evaluation form. I'm hearing that each person. So Kimberly is asking if we can get a recording. We are working on that at this point. If we have your email address, we are actually planning to send you a nice little package. Thank you so much. Any questions? Candice is saying she loves the presentation. Maxine Carter Smith is saying very informative. Kimberly doesn't want to leave you at all. Jamboard is a great idea from Cassandra. Christopher is saying that the whole Caribbean has that challenge of reprimanding people in public. I'm seeing a lot more messages coming in. Excellent ideas, lovely presentation. Awesome. So Victorine, Diane, if we had a prize for the most active person, Diane and I think it's Wendell would be the ones who would win that. Great poem. Any questions? We have maybe 5 minutes, so we can take a few questions. And if you have no questions, I would then ask you to type into the chat 2 things that you learned. So can you type into the chat for us 2 things that you learned from this presentation? You can do the evaluation right away, Tonali. And Ika McPhee says she teaches deaf students. Hang on, that message just disappeared. A question for our presenters: what would work best with low-level reading students? Who wants to take that one? Kimberly says, reprimanding in public does not solve the problem. They remember the RIP. Praise in public. Yeah, I'm not hearing you. Yeah. I support that incorporating music in all lessons is an excellent way of getting full potential out of our students. I want to thank our presenters so much for doing a wonderful job. And so now we need to do the clap, everybody. So thank you all too for attending and being so attentive. Please remember to fill out the evaluation for us. I just put it back in the chat. And Wendy Prater is saying, yes, she's going to use the strategies to reinforce desirable behavior. So thank you. Let me just see if I can get my presenters back online. I don't know why they're hiding from us. So can you come back online, Miss Lawrence?
We're having a bit of difficulty. We're coming. We'll just skip what on.
So let us see your faces though. Thank you. You know, we're telling you thank you and we don't even know who we're saying thanks to.
We don't know how to do social distance.
And one can stand by one flag and one stand by the other. That's social distance. Yay! So thank you so much. Great job. Wonderful, wonderful presentation. This is social distance. And thanks everyone. Continue to enjoy the conference. Thank you.